At the beginning of this year, Southeast Radio embarked on a new series with 4 couples dealing with infertility. With the guidance of Bunclody-based fertility expert Siobhan Keogh, our couples embarked on her natural approach to getting pregnant. Between them, they'd been trying for over 15 years for a baby, and some were told a natural pregnancy was never going to be an option. Siobhan practices traditional Chinese medicine and uses acupuncture and herbs to restore balance to people's lives. The good news is that in August, our first Southeast Radio fertile plan baby, Clara, was born. Even though Sarah and Connor were told that a donor egg was their only option, they fell pregnant naturally within 6 weeks of meeting Siobhan. Aoife and Ken were almost 2 years trying to get pregnant, and IVF was their next option. However, after a few months on our fertile plan, Aoife got her happy news.
So, I'm almost 26 weeks pregnant, so nearly in the 3rd trimester, and we're absolutely thrilled. We been coming to Siobhan for a significant amount of time, and really taking the herbs was one part of it, but for me the most important part was the emotional advice she would have been giving me on working on my mind and kind of letting go of control and letting go of fear and kind of welcoming the baby, making room in my life for the baby to come into our lives. So thankfully we're now expecting a baby at the start of February, so we're absolutely thrilled.
Bring me back to the few days leading up to finding out you were pregnant, because at that time when we left you did decide to go away and get some more tests done.
So we were taking the herbs and seeing Siobhan for about 6 months. I always like to be in control of things, so I was getting a little bit impatient and thinking we'll still continue because we could see benefits of what we were doing, but I always had a thought at the back of my head that maybe there was like a blockage or something in one of my fallopian tubes. So we had just kind of said we'd just go to the Rotunda and get some tests. So I would have got the cyst treatment where they check for blockages, and Ken would have just got his semen analysis retested. So that was back in April, and then we went back in for the results of those at the start of May. Ken's morphology and semen analysis had improved, no doubt, from the herbs, and then there was no blockages or anything wrong on my side, but the doctor would have recommended that in light of us not being pregnant that we would go for IUI and IVF. So we actually were talking about it then a few days later, and we decided that we wouldn't proceed with fertility treatment just yet, and we wanted to give it from up to January. We basically finish out the year, spend another 6 months or so working on, say, me and taking the herbs and just kind of mentally preparing, because we also knew that IVF can be quite a emotional and kind of straining process. And then lo and behold, about 3 or 4 weeks later, I actually found out I was pregnant.
Did you have an inkling?
No, because we'd been in, as it turns out now, when we were actually back in the Rotunda with the specialist telling us we should go for IVF, I actually was pregnant and didn't realise it at that time. You would usually, if coming up to my period, be kind of closely monitoring how many days it was, but because we kind of made the decision to wait till January and just keep doing what we were doing, I was not thinking about it at all, and had a couple of symptoms that usually I would have convinced myself I was pregnant, but was ignoring it, and then just happened to do a test because I had some extra tests there, but was convinced I wasn't pregnant, and nearly fell off the bed when I found out, and then did about, I'd say, 7 more tests before I told Ken, because I was so used to not seeing the line, the 2 blue lines.
You're almost 26 weeks now. Yeah. How are you feeling? You look fabulous.
Great now, feeling a couple of aches and pains and all, that type of tiredness, but to be honest, feeling great and just so excited, and you can feel the baby kicking now, so that's really, really exciting.
We first met in January, probably sitting exactly where we are right now. If the Aoife in January could see the Aoife now, what would she think?
To be honest, I definitely think I've changed a lot of how I am, kind of not being as in control of things, and trying to just really live in the now and be more, just kind of focus on me, focus on Ken, focus on us as a family, and not give away all your time and attention and love to everybody else. I'm still Aoife, still just who I was before, but just much more aware of things now. And I think working with Siobhan, trying to bring that through my pregnancy now as well, and into when baby arrived.
I'm conscious as well that we have couples still on the fertile plan, and please God, they'll get to the end of to the beginning of the road, I suppose, and they'll get their happiness as well. And you do know what that feels like.
Absolutely, yeah. Because I know when we found out one of the first couples were pregnant, I remember being so upset, like delighted for them, absolutely thrilled, because their odds would have been, very low, but really upset for us. And then now I hope the other two couples, I hope us being pregnant now would perhaps give them some hope to just stick with the advice that Siobhan is given and pursue the options they need to do to kind of hang in there and be hopeful, because their time will come as well. What's made me really, which I'd never understood before, is what a miracle it is to be able to conceive and then to actually give birth to a happy baby. Now, I'm obviously only 6 months pregnant now, but I've just really appreciated what a miracle it is to be growing a baby and hopefully to be able to carry that baby to term. And I think people just kind of like take it for granted sometimes that, it is a miracle. And the human body is so amazing to be able to do that. So we have to believe in the body and really trust in ourselves, and I suppose provide the right environment to be able to do that with the help of Siobhan, to make sure that miracle can kind of come true to fruition, So that's the main thing I really learned that I didn't think I would learn at all. So
for people listening, Siobhan, who are in the position of infertility, maybe it's unexplained or, IVF fails, what advice would you give them?
Don't embark on the fear journey. So many people feed the fear and cling on to one medical result, one semen analysis or blood result. I've seen umpteen couples and individuals where they were told there was absolutely no hope, but in showing themselves love, trusting that their body, empowering themselves and getting themselves into balance, against all odds, they have managed to conceive and carry a healthy baby to term.
When somebody is sick, Siobhan, a diagnosis is welcomed in one way because it's something you can work to treating. And with fertility, when there's unexplained fertility, it must be a very frustrating place for, some of our couples as well to be in, because you don't know what's causing it. It's unexplained. You're in a little bit of a limbo land. But you say there's no such thing as unexplained infertility.
I absolutely don't believe in unexplained infertility. In Western medicine, they do say it's 33%, 1/3 of all couples are given no reason at all for their fertility issues. And I see this over and over again, and people come in, they're very frustrated, they want answers. There's always an answer, and I can always give couples and individuals that answer on the first visit, and they can understand where the answer is. So when I explain them and see where the deficiencies and the imbalances lie, they actually understand it, and then they work on that to get their body back into balance.
Huge curiosity with what you do, and the herbs for a lot of people, it's like, really, are they magic? What on earth? But it's the same. There's probably a lot of skepticism with people in the beginning. Like, how do you overcome that when you're giving people their packages heading away?
Well, I have to say, overall, I'm astonishingly surprised by how open to it people are. Like, I do see a lot of the medical profession and pharmacists and vets and all that coming to me as well, so they are very open to it. Often their friends have come or their neighbours have come, so it's a lot of people come. It's all word of mouth, really. The herbs that I use are completely natural. I have different techniques for helping people work on the emotional aspect.
Explain to me like a bag of herbs. Just give me kind of examples of what type of herbs are in there. They're in a dried form and they look like potpourri, I suppose, brown potpourri. But explain to me, do you know, like, what are they specific for different people?
Yeah, generally there's 8 to 10 herbs in every pack. So sometimes we can get maybe one herb or one tincture in the health shop, which is very good. Chinese medicine believes in combining different herbs together to make it more potent and to have more of an effect on the body. If 10 women came to me with endometriosis, they could all be on completely different formulas depending if they're more hot or cold, or if they've PMT or blood stagnation or light or heavy periods. So what I really like about Chinese medicine is it's very individualised.
Siobhan, you really believe in what you do and you're quite passionate about what you've just said there. And yet, so many couples come through the doors here. They're going through infertility, maybe IVF has failed and they feel there is no hope. And yet you're able to apply what you've just said to me there. And in many, many cases, it works.
That's why I took this programme on against all odds. And the 4 couples that came forward, some of them had quite significant medical diagnosis, because I really believe in what I do. And I'm really passionate about giving hope to people.
Tell us about our other couples as well. So Danielle and Stephen, how are things going for them?
Approximately April this year, Danielle and Stephen decided shortly after that to discontinue treatment. When I was last talking to them, they continued to have very positive fertility signs. Danielle, although she has polycystic ovarian syndrome, continued to ovulate early and on time and have healthy periods, and Stephen continued to have very healthy fertility signs as well. And so I genuinely wish them all the best. Ciara and Lorcan had taken a break also after the programme. Ciara had some family issues. Someone close to her had a big operation done, and Ciara is the main carer. However, Ciara is now planning to do a frozen embryo transfer in the very near future. She has 2 frozen embryos left from a previous IVF. I truly hope it will be a positive result for Ciara and Lorcan.
So Clara is 12 weeks on Sunday. She was born on the 26th of August, the day the Pope gave a speech. She's just been amazing ever since. You can hear her there in the background. Me and Connor are just madly in love with her, and she's the best thing that ever happened to us, and I can't believe I'm saying that sometimes still. I suppose looking back really to last year, unbelievable to think that we have her now for this Christmas. Last Christmas wasn't great for us. We're just forever grateful to Siobhan. We're forever grateful to her for helping us on this journey and just giving us a different way, and I suppose showing us some hope and some light. For other people that are listening, it's easy for me to say, oh look, I'm here with my baby and it was all great and really easy, because it wasn't, and we were only on that road for 2 years. I know there's people on it for a lot longer, but I just think that maybe people don't know there's other ways or other roads to go down, and it can be a long road with many hurdles. And luckily we only had to jump a few. I found taking the herbs and supplements put me back in control of my own body after trying IVF, and it didn't work. I just a better approach and I had more control over it, and I felt like I was doing something positive. And I mean, luckily enough, 6 weeks later I was pregnant. When we left that day, we just felt so much better about everything, and we knew what we were going to do. We just really stuck to the plan. We were so lucky, 6 weeks later, and now look, Clara's here. I just can't imagine our life without her, at all. And I just want someone else to hear this and think, okay, well, I might give that a go, because I was a little bit hesitant at first going into Siobhan, thought it was a little bit airy fairy. So I still talk to Siobhan once a week. She's the nicest person in the world. When she was already on to me going, now, are you thinking about going again? And taking the herbs, and I was thinking, all right, just let me have a year with this one. As I said, we have little Clara Robin now, and she's proof enough for everything. She's going and down here beside me. So yeah, I suppose it's a good ending for us, and hopefully it'll be a good ending for somebody else too.
As we leave our couple, South East Radio would like to thank them and Siobhan for their time and their honesty in sharing their journey with us, and we wish them all the very best for the future.